Hi everyone, Leanne here from Jaded and it is day 2 of our February release, and I have a fun card to share. Hey, so I'm using Jaded border dies too, along with our gnome dies, our card mat dies, our rainbow dies, our gnome dies, St. Patrick's Day add-ons, our sentiment strip dies. I'm also using our brand new stamp set Clovers for sale. And I'm using Honeybees Over the Rainbow and Rainbow Birthday 6-inch pads. And I did pre-assemble this little gnome, and you've seen me do that before, so I don't have to show you, but everything will be listed on my blog. So I have a piece of Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock that's cut at 4 5 1/4 inches, and I'm going to add that to the inside of an A2 sized card base that I made using New Leaf cardstock from Paper Tray Ink, 4.25 by 11, scored at 5 1/2 inches. And then now I have a little 1/2-inch strip of paper from that honeybee pad called Over the Rainbow. I'm just going to add that. I'll trim off the overhang. And then I'm going to quickly add another strip. This is just a little under 1/2 inch. And I'm going to add that with some score tape. And I'm just going to kind of trim that paper because it's kind of white on white, right? So it doesn't really show up. So I'm going to grab a strip of paper, and that's from that same pad, the Over the Rainbow Honeybee 6-inch pad. I'm just going to trim off the overhang with a pair of scissors. So there you have it. Now I've got my sentiment strip die. So I've got my sentiment stripped onto Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock with VersaFine Clear Nocturne ink, and I'm using the sentiment strips to cut it out. So I'm going to line up I can't even think of what that's called, the relief part of the cut with the sentiment. So I know that it's going to be straight, and I'll run that through my Gemini machine. And I also used a piece of Doodlebug Lots of Luck odds and ends. So that's this little cute shamrock here I'm going to add to the inside of the card. That's what's great about Doodlebug's odds and ends. Like, I think they're great to add to the inside of cards to kind of dress things up. Lots of fun. And I'm kind of lucky that the green kind of goes, right? Remember, everything doesn't have to necessarily match, but it kind of has to go, right? So now I'm going to add my little sentiment strip on. And it kind of lines up right in that little strip of paper that I have there. So it says Happy St. Patrick's Day. Now on the outside, I cut out this rainbow pattern paper. That's from that same Over the Rainbow 6-inch pad. And I cut that out using our card mat dies. Like I said, all my die cutting was done with my Gemini, like I always do, using my ATG tape there. Now I'm going to add this Lucky Clover. So what I did was I cut that out. I stamped it in VersaFine Clear Nocturne ink. I cut it out, out of Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock. And then I used that border dies too. So I get the stitching that's continuous all along the mat. That's what I was going for. So there you have it. I'll stick that down. And I'm not gluing the top of those clouds because I want to be able to put clouds behind that, and you'll see that in a minute. So now I'm going to pop up his little shoes that were cut out of Paper Tray Ink's black cardstock. I'm just popping them up with some Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. And you're going to have that cute little leprechaun gnome sitting on top of these clouds. So I'm just going to add these clouds from our rainbow die set. I love the clouds from this rainbow die. They're my favorite clouds. Is that a thing? People having a favorite cloud? I love these cloud shapes. They kind of look cartoonish. I just think they're so much fun. So I'm popping them down. And then I will be popping up the top of the gnome, but I'll be gluing the bottom of the gnome flat. I'm just going to tuck that behind. I didn't like the way that looked. There we go. And then I'll have him sitting on top. So his beard is cut out of American Crafts light brown cardstock, and his little gold buckle is cut out of American Crafts Christmas foil pad, the gold foil from that pad. But you could use any gold foil, right? I just like to tell you exactly what I use. I always use American Crafts cardstock as the backing piece of my gnome. The skin is P13 stamping pad skin tones. I know you can't get that right now, but that's what I used. So, you could use another skin tone paper. That would just be fine. So now I'm going to add a few clouds to the background, behind his hat. So I'm going to add one in the upper right, and then I'm going to add one kind of midway down on the left. just so you get kind of like a visual triangle between the clouds on the bottom and then those two other clouds. Now I went and cut out this little shamrock using paper from the Rainbow Birthday, I believe that one's from. Oh no, that one's also the Over the Rainbow from Honeybee, but his hat is from the Rainbow Birthday 6-inch pad from Honeybee. So what I did was I cut it out of white cardstock and then I cut it out of the pattern just because I wanted it to be a little thicker. Now I'm going to pop up his little hands that were cut out of that same P13 stamping pad, and I'll stick those down with Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. You saw that I used art glitter glue to stick the shamrock down flat on his body. So now I have this green sequin mix, and for the life of me, I have no idea what it's called. But it's just a green sequin mix, and it kind of goes, right? So I'm going to sort of sprinkle them around using my art glitter glue and the Studio Katia embellishment wand to pick them up. These embellishment wands are awesome for that. Otherwise, it's hard to pick them up, right? There you have it. And now I'm going to use a secure white jelly roll pen in a number 10, and I'll add a few little highlights to this little guy just to add a little bit of interest. You know, I don't really pay attention to light sources or anything, but I'm just trying to make them look pretty, right? There you have it. Add a little one to the top of his nose. Now I am using a Nuvo Crystal Drops in Simply White, and I'm going to add little droplets to the center of each of these little sequins because I hate the hole. I like to cover up the hole. I'm crazy like that. But anyway, there you have it. And I think it turned out rather sweet. So thank you so much for stopping by. Be sure to hop on over to the Jaded Blossom blog, be inspired by all the design team, the Jaded Blossom store to maybe get the Gotta Have It Now. And that is all. And be sure to come back tomorrow because I will have another video for you. And thanks as always for watching. I really appreciate it. And hopefully we will see you soon in my next one. Bye everyone.